Those who made it till the end of 2020 must be thankful for many things, and a big part of that goes to art. Some of us had binge watched many shows and went to read books when we exhausted that. Welcome to our channel, Financial Insights, the place where you are always a little bit smarter and wiser after seeing one of our valuable videos so you can develop your financial knowledge. Don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to our channel so we can make even more financial content. Let us hope this year to be better and get on track with the new reading list. Those who picked up the reading habit during the pandemic or came back to a reading streak, welcome to the club. And the rest of you, the book nerds, let us get into today's video and start listing things out. Number 10, Aftershocks by Nadia Owusu. Nadia Owusu has lived all around the world. With astonishing self-awareness, self-describes both her privilege and its cost, on herself, her family, and the world at large by saying, "Let me show you my home. It's a border. It is the outer edge of both sides. They drew the lines right through me." This book is a fascinating reflection of an international childhood and the brutal aftershocks of the emotional and geographic upheavals caused by the same. "I can only talk about the wars in Ethiopia and Uganda from a protected place," says the writer, who is not protected enough to prevent the world from marking her. The combination of a heartbreakingly fractured family and frequent moves between cultures and languages constitute the book's and the writer's earthquakes. This toggling between locations and time periods is so disorienting that it feels very intentional. To show the readers what she went through, Owusu explains the Black Lives Matter movement, colorism in the African American community, post-colonial theory, anti-LGBTQ laws in Uganda, and Armenian genocide, and Bush's PEPFAR legislation, which are some of the topics mentioned. Having lived through 2 literal tremors and countless figurative quakes, Owusu bravely owns her history and writes, "A story is a flashlight and a weapon." Reading this memoir is an insightful and inspiring tour through the seismic moments of the last several decades. Number 9, Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. In 2002, Daniel Kahneman, who is a psychologist, won the Nobel Prize in Economics. Ironically, he is one half of a pair of psychologists who began in the early 1970s and set out to dismantle an entity long dear to economic theorists, that arc-rational decision-maker known as Homo economicus. Thinking Fast and Slow, in his 2012 best-selling book, which was the year's winner of the National Academy's Communication Award for Best Creative Work, that helps the public understand behavioral science, engineering, and medicine. The main thesis he puts forward in the book is a dichotomy between 2 modes of thought. The first one is System 1, which is fast, instinctive, and emotional. Second, System 2, which is slower, more deliberative, and more logical. The book delineates rational and non-rational motivations or triggers associated with each type of thinking process and discusses how they complement each other. The book summarizes Kahneman's several decades of research to suggest that people have too much confidence in human judgment by giving examples of people's tendency to replace a difficult question with one that is easier to answer. The book summarizes research that Kahneman performed, often in collaboration with Amos Tversky, and along with that, it also covers all 3 phases of his career: his early work concerning cognitive biases, his work on prospect theory, and his later work on happiness. Number 8, Dog Flowers by Danielle Geller. In this book, Danielle Geller presents her heart-wrenching memoir revisiting life growing up on a Navajo reservation. As the story unfolds, Geller recalls those moments of abuse, abandonment, hopelessness, and her desire for affirmation in the world painted with constant insecurities and crisis. In the story, a phone call informs Danielle that her mother, Lauren Tweety Lee, is dying in a Florida hospital. It racks her soul, but she decides to go and stand before this constantly deteriorating altar of motherhood. Tweety was alcoholic and left Danielle and her 2 sisters, Eileen and Alexandra, in those throes of swinging doors of available men. As Danielle comes face to face with her mother in that hospital bed, she is left with a tattered suitcase that belonged to Tweety that is stuffed with letters, receipts, diaries, and photos depicting a life that stops short at 49. It takes months before Danielle could bring herself to lift the lid and shine light upon its contents. Dog Flowers is a heavy and sad book. and tells the reader that the very ones who should have our backs are the ones who can doom us to a repetitive life. It's a reminder of how ineffectively the stars are aligned. Number 7. The Bitcoin Standard, the decentralized alternative to central banking, by Safeddin Ammous. Bitcoin is just the first implemented example of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin's backbone is not a bank verifying transactions, but a clever system of decentralized, trustless verification based on some of the math born in cryptography. Can this young upstart money challenge the global monetary order? Are you interested in investing in Bitcoin? Then this might be the book for you. In this work, economist Safeddin Ammous traced the history of the technologies of money and explains what gave technologies their monetary role. The monetary and historical analysis sets the stage for understanding the mechanics of the operation of Bitcoin. It also makes it easier to understand the reasons for its initial success and the role it could play in an information economy. Rather than serving as a currency and network for consumer purchases, the author argues Bitcoin is better suited as a store of value and network for settlement between large financial institutions. This is a perfect read for Bitcoin enthusiasts. Number 6. Detransition Baby by Torrey Peters. In this electrifying debut novel, 3 lives coalesce around an unexpected pregnancy, forcing a bittersweet examination of identity, parenthood, and family. When Ames learns that his boss-turned-lover is pregnant, he confesses that he once identified as a trans woman, then hatches a plan for his lover to co-parent with his ex-girlfriend, a lonesome trans elder, yearning to become a mother. And this compassionate, gut-punching story, Peters leans all the way into the tragicomedy of how families and identities are formed, making for a deeply searching novel that resists easy answers. Number 5. Tax-free Wealth, How to Build Massive Wealth by Permanently Lowering Your Taxes by Tom Wheelwright. Tax-free Wealth shows the readers how to build massive amounts of wealth by using practical and strategic ways to reduce taxes permanently. While it's true that managing your taxes can be outsourced to an accountant or CPA, successful real estate investors always have a solid understanding of the factors that affect their financial future. Having basic knowledge in zoning, leasing, property management, and taxes help you understand if you're getting the best advice and making the right decisions. By understanding the fundamental principles of how taxes work and what tax laws are written for, you'll be able to tailor your investing strategy and arrange your finances to reap the rewards of today's real estate-friendly tax system. Number 4. Crafting the Real World, Rethinking Fiction Writing and Workshopping by Matthew Celsius. In this shattering examination of how we teach creative writing, Celsius, a novelist and professor, builds a persuasive argument for tearing up the rulebook. Tracing the traditional writing workshop to its roots in white, male cultural values, Celsius challenges received wisdom about the benchmarks of good fiction, arguing that we must reimagine how we write and how we teach. Only then will our canon and our classrooms be inclusive, expansive spaces we want them to be. Number 3. Why Nations Fell, by Darren Acemoglu and James A. Robinson. Darren Acemoglu and James Robinson conclusively show human-made political and economic institutions that underlie economic success. Korea, to just take one of their fascinating examples, is a remarkably homogeneous nation. Yet, North Korea's people are among the poorest on earth, while their brothers and sisters in South Korea are among the richest. The South forged a society that created incentives, rewarded innovation, and allowed everyone to participate in economic opportunities. Thus, the economic success was sustained because the government became accountable and responsive to citizens and the great mass of people. On the other hand, the North people have endured decades of famine, political repression, and very different economic institutions. The differences between the Koreas is due to the politics that created these completely different institutional trajectories. Why Nations Fell would change the way you look at and understand the world. Number 2. Let Me Tell You What I Mean by Joan Didion. From a tie-in of American letters comes a compendium of 12 early pieces, never before anthologized together, which finds everyone from Martha Stewart to Ernest Hemingway in Didion's crosshairs. Each essay showcases Didion at her very best, spotlighting her incisive reporting, her steely narrative gaze, and her commanding gifts as a prose stylist. Anthologized together in this compact volume, these peerless essays remind us why Didion looms so large in the pantheon of American literature. Number 1. The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. Modern readers praise Stoic philosophy for its unique blend of practicality and wisdom. The antiquated, needlessly formal language of most modern translations is stripped down in this book, revealing powerful aphorisms that cut straight to the heart of our day-to-day challenges. Presented in a page-per-day format, this daily resource of Stoic inspiration comes new translations of Seneca, Epictetus, Zeno by Stephen Hanselman, which calls to further reflection and action by Ryan Holiday. Aimed at the high-octane, action-oriented doers of our wired world, this book is intended to open to them a new daily ritual and a new orientation that will bring balanced action, insight, effectiveness, and serenity. Let us know in the comments below if we mentioned any book that you've already read. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe and check out our other valuable videos. Did you like the recommendation? Use the thumbs up button to show your love. Which topic should we do next? See you soon at Financial Insights.